good day to stay on. Now's your chance.
Hey, what's going on, people? Jack Reeve, Talk Norwich City here, back for another predicted 11 video. I hope you guys are all doing fantastically well. This weekend, we take the trip up to Bramall Lane to face Sheffield United in the Championship. And well, these games aren't getting any easier, are they? We've had a pretty tough start to the league, I must admit. But admittedly, Birmingham away was probably the easiest so far. But West Brom, Sheffield United, and two really tough home games against Preston and Leeds, and then a trip to Ipswich. The first 6 games of this season have proven difficult, possibly proven difficult anyway. Also, I want to thank you all for your wonderful support over the past sort of 15, 20 videos. Views are through the roof. I'm not overly sure why. It might be the introduction of Connor Southwell's handsome face. It might be Chris Reeve's biceps. It might be me talking nonsense. But whatever the case, thank you. I'm very much expecting a mid-season dip when we're about 15th, have nothing left to play for, and views plummet. So I'm going to ride the wave while I still can. Also, apologies if you can hear chainsaws outside. They're deciding to chop all the trees down in Yarmouth. So that's good. Anyway, team. Yeah, let's look at this then. So I'm changing it up. We're 3 games into the league, and I'm changing things up already because I'm impatient and I want results quickly. In goal, I will stick with Tim Krul. You know my thoughts on this whole goalkeeper situation, but I will stick with Tim Krul, and I think he will come good, despite them mistakes against West Brom. Now, I'm changing the formation. I'm going with 3 at the back. So 3 centre-backs in the middle, and the captain, Grant Hanley, and then Closer and Zimmerman. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because Sheffield United away is not the type of game that you want to be too lightweight for. Last season, we went there and won through a Yannick Vuljcic goal, but we defended fantastically well. All of our defence was brilliant, and I can remember particularly Angus Gunn having a fantastic game that day, which then caused the meltdown of the century when Chris Wilder blamed them losing on our team bus arriving slightly later than scheduled. If you haven't already seen it, type in Chris Wilder versus Norwich interview. It is exceptional entertainment. In at left back, now this is the position, if any, has caused us the most problems this season. Farke clearly doesn't rate Husband. He dropped him out of the side for the West Brom game, saying he didn't impress him at Birmingham. The big sort of litmus test, I suppose, was then whether he made the team for Stevenage in the Cup. He was dropped for 18-year-old Max Aarons. If that doesn't say you're not in the good books with your manager, then I don't know what does. Now, Lewis was maybe going to be fit for Stevenage, but not for the whole 90 minutes. We've got Stiepermann, who can pretty much play anywhere, I think. Admittedly, not very well in any of them positions, but he's a player. And we've got, of course, that man, Jamal Lewis. Now, I'm going to stick him in there. If he's not fit, look, it's a risk. It is a risk. But whatever happens, he's got a bit of defensive cover with them 3 centre-backs behind him. He's got a bit of freedom to go forwards. I think it would be stupid not to throw Jamal Lewis in there, even if he's not fully fit. You could play him for the first 60. If all goes wrong, you can bring on a Marco Stiepermann, or worst case scenario, a James Husband. In at right back, or right wing back, I should say, is Marshall. Now, I really like the look of Marshall, actually. Provided that lovely assist for Hernandez, first game of the season against Birmingham. I thought looked pretty solid against West Brom, despite that error which led to the J. Rodriguez penalty. I don't think he's an out-and-out right back. I think he's a wing back. He likes to get forward. He was caught out of position a few times against West Brom. I think he was just getting used to playing as a solid right back rather than a right wing back. With this formation, it allows Marshall to push further up the pitch. Now, I'm going to go with a midfield duo, defensive midfield duo. I know Chris doesn't like this, although he did admit that for away games, he is okay with it. Tete's dropped out for me. Instead, I'm going to go with Ben Godfrey, who I just think is a really complete player. I really like the look of Ben Godfrey. Played at centre-back against Stevenage. I still like him slightly further up the pitch. I think he's a really dynamic midfielder. He's good in the tackle. He's mobile. And he's got a good pass on him as well. So Ben Godfrey goes in there for me. Next to him is Thomas Tribal, who, you know, he never gives the ball away, is solid. Admittedly, has faltered a little bit over the sort of late stages of last season, and wasn't even in the squad for the game against West Brom, which I think is because of homegrown talent rules, which we really do have to be careful of. Another reason why selling Remy Matthews wasn't the ideal move, but, you know, we'll put that to the back. So, yeah, fairly solid base that, I think. Then going forwards, now, I think this 3... well, they're already clicking. It's Jordan Rhodes up front. It's Pookie in behind him, out on the left. Pukki, and then Hernandez out on the right. And now, against Stevenage, defensively we looked fairly solid. Their only goal came from a wonderful free kick. Admittedly, was given away by Zimmerman. He then brought the player down, leading to that free kick. Look, it was one of Zimmerman's first games back. The game changed when Pukki and Hernandez came on. Srebeni led the line not very well. His Norwich City career is still kind of up in the air. I think there is something there with Dennis Srebeni. I don't think he could lead a line on his own. Cantwell, I thought, had a decent game, considering it was his proper full debut, I think. I thought he played very well, but looked a little bit isolated at times. Stiepermann, I don't think, is an attacking player. And the game was very stale going forwards. Pukki came on, Hernandez came on, completely different game. Hernandez put defenders on the back foot. Pukki's just a really intelligent player. I think that's what it is with him. The goal was really well taken. That's now 2 goals in 2 games for him at Carrow Road. He moves the ball onwards nicely. His movement is really good. And his partnership with this man, Jordan Rhodes, is really flourishing. I know Rhodes has only scored 1. It should have really been a hat-trick at Carrow. Pukki's got a couple of goals. Hernandez has got a couple of goals. That's not a bad return after 2 games in the Championship. So that is my team. Let me just 6, 8, 10, 11. I always wonder that I've put too many players on the pitch, which might be a good tactic. Let's just sneak 12 players on there. I've changed the formation. I think it's a little bit more defensive than what we saw against West Brom. We need a bit of defensive solidity. Yes, I'm all up for entertaining football. 4-3s every week would be fun if we were on the right side of them. But going to Bramall Lane, we're going to need to be a little bit tighter. We're going to need to retain the ball a little bit more. And of course, we're going to need to look good on the break, which I think we have through Pukki and Hernandez and Jordan Rhodes. I have also seen that apparently, according to Sheffield Press, the Sheffield United team camp has been struck down by illness. That was what the headline was. I read into it. It was like 3 players. Billy Sharp will lead the line for them, a very experienced Championship striker. I'm actually quite nervous for this weekend. Mainly, I think there's a real lot riding on this one. If we lose this game, you then go into two really tough home games and an away game against Ipswich, and you haven't yet won a Championship game. However, if you win, you go into Preston, you're suddenly thinking, we can beat Preston, upset the apple cart a little bit against Leeds, and then you go into Ipswich flying. So I don't want to say season defining. It's not season defining, but if we do lose this or we draw this, pressure just continues to mount on Daniel Farke. And that's not what he wants or the players want. We need to get that first win of the season out of the way, because again, at times against West Brom we played really nice football. At times against Birmingham we played really nice football. And the same against Stevenage, at times we played really nice football. But we've yet to put that together in a complete package. We're going to need to do that against Sheffield United, who I think are an outside shout for the top 6 this season. So that's that. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. What team would you like to see play? As always, I read all the comments and reply to some of them. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.